You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, King. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, substituting for the great Sir Richard Wentworth as he is sick, this is Phil Svitek announcing tonight's HBO Luck After Show with our hosts Kristen Snyder and Dave Klein. And remember, folks, if you want to tune in, you can. I'm sorry, not tune in, call in. And you do that by dialing 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, is HBO's Luck.
All right. That's because you're already tuning in, so that's why you can call in. But I'm Dave Klein, and joining me is the lovely Kristen Snyder.
Hello, everyone. You may remember me from Dexter.
And you may remember me from Shameless last week, which you obviously watched. But today we're here to talk about the new show Luck and the pilot episode premiering. Actually, I believe it first premiered in December, but officially premiering tonight.
Tonight for us, anyway.
Yes. So let's go ahead and talk about our overall thoughts for the show. And I don't know, Kristen, what did you get from the show?
All right. Well, I mean, never really being a gambler myself, I'm very intrigued by this world. I mean, it's set in a very competitive world of horse racing, and it takes us on the track and behind the scenes.
Yeah, and you know, I'm not a gambler myself either. I've gone to Las Vegas maybe 3 times ever in my life.
0 for this one.
And every time I went, I gave myself a limit of $20. So that was clearly big money
Risk taker
over here. Big gambler.
Risk taker.
My little brother loves gambling, but I'm not so much into it. So this really isn't my world. So being that said, it was a little difficult for me being thrown into this show because they kind of throw out a lot of terminology for a lot of things I don't know that much about. And I was like, it's an HBO show. I want to watch it because I love HBO shows. And that was kind of what drew me into it. And I think for me, it was a little confusing because as a lot of HBO shows do, there are a lot of characters they introduce you to. And as you and I mentioned, within the first 10 minutes, we didn't even know most of those characters' names. So I think it was a little confusing for me at first. What did you think?
I mean, I sort of expect that. I love Boardwalk. Deadwood, who David Milch actually written. Deadwood also is the writer of Luck. And I expect that from his shows. Lots of characters who you eventually get very deep into each of these characters, and they all become so important to the story, and I'm excited about them. So excited. And it does bother me that we're kind of thrown off by so many and who's who, and we had to stop and rewind.
Yes.
Try to even look up on IMDb to try to keep track of everyone, but we will try to make it clear for you guys who is who amongst the players.
Well,
Yes.
let me ask you this. I mean, I myself didn't watch the show, but I want to. And, you know, the thing that I find with these sort of shows and what really defines great writing is if you don't necessarily have to know the person's name, but you always know their voice. Like, we do Justified, and I love it's a Western show and classic of all Westerns. Really, you don't even really need to know the person's name. They don't. That's kind of part of the genre is they don't say the name. That most people are called harmonica or whatever. And so, you know, did you guys feel at least like you may have not known the names, but you always knew who was who and what they were about?
Well, I think for me, and this is coming back to me not knowing the gambling world, it kind of took me a little longer to figure out exactly what their deal was. Like, okay, this person is a trainer or are they an owner? Because I just don't know horse racing. And that was kind of what threw me a little off is like, oh, wait, is this an owner of the horses? Are they a trainer? Or what exactly is their deal with the horse racing? Because I honestly know nothing about horse racing. So maybe now I'll be educated. By the end of the show, though, I mean, I was interested. I wanted to know more. It was just a very big leap for me at the beginning, not knowing exactly what their deal was and why they were doing it.
I feel like everyone sort of has their own lingo, which will kind of help us. Like the horse owners, the trainers, the jockeys, and the gamblers. They all speak a different kind of language but I think eventually we'll catch on.
Yes.
And we'll be able to find who's who by the language they're speaking.
Yeah, and I think definitely by the end of the show, I'd caught on by the end of it. I was like, okay, this is the trainer. I mean, this is what they're doing, and these are the jockeys, and clearly these are the gamblers. So I definitely by the end of it could tell
Absolutely.
who is who.
So I think we should go ahead and talk about the intro. And I mean, this is clearly an insight into the world of numbers, money, luck, speed, cheating, secrets.
Yeah. And I think for the opening, what they did, and to try and draw you into that world, is they use a lot of lucky charms. They had
I saw the luck signs.
Yeah, the luck sign. I mean, that was
The
one of the things.
horseshoe.
Yeah, they had the horseshoe ring. Mm-hmm. I didn't see a rabbit's foot, but that's the one that I think of. That's mine, a 4-leaf clover,
that
a rabbit's
yours?
foot.
Yeah, I saw a lot of coins, and the best part to me was the coin in the end, where it was like going up. We didn't know which side it was going to go on, and that's sort of the whole plot of the show is luck. You don't know.
Right, exactly. So it's true, and they have it just spinning, and you're just like, I don't
Who
know.
knows?
I don't know what's
Are
gonna
you
be.
are you ready? Were you ready to put money down?
I was not ready to put money down because I'm not a gambler.
No, me neither. But it seemed very dark. The song, in case you guys were wondering, I'm always Shazamming every time I don't know a song, and I Shazammed the intro song, and it is "Splitting the Atom" by Massive Attack. So
A lovely
download
track.
that. I did like it.
Yeah, it was good. You know, though,
It's
I don't think
creepy.
it wasn't quite as hard hitting as something like the True Bloods intro with Bad, but it was good. It was good for what it was, and I think you'll probably get drawn into it just as like I was for the Entourage intro. And every week you see it, you'll definitely want to eventually download it, I'm sure.
Absolutely, I'm going to. All right, so should we get into our first topic?
Yeah, let's go to our first topic. So what we thought would be a good idea to do is talk about the way all the characters correlate with each other and all these branching relationships, because that's kind of what's going to start really hitting is how do all these characters' relationships end up hitting each other. And at the moment, they're kind of separate.
Everyone is separated.
So right now, the first thing that you are introduced to in the show is the main owner and owners. So Chester, also Dustin Hoffman's character, which is the big name on the show, he's one of the producers. We're introduced to his character getting out of jail. And he's riding in the car with Gus, who is his driver, and
His driver and only trustee, really.
yes, the only man, as he reveals later in the show, that he actually trusts. He doesn't even trust himself, but he trusts Gus.
Gus.
And Gus is doing a big favor for him in fronting being a horse owner when it's actually Chester who's the horse owner, but clearly he's not allowed to for whatever reason. He was put into jail.
Right.
So Gus is fronting as the owner of this horse.
And I feel like people should really realize that, especially Mr. DeRossi that we eventually come in contact with.
Yeah. You know, I think he does kind of realize it because he seems kind of skeptical, and he's not. Their interaction, which is later in the show, it's kind of a weird interaction where Gus is trying to like put on this front like he knows what he's doing,
Right.
and I believe he kind of what's pointed out is that he doesn't even know how to feed the horse a carrot,
Right.
and it's like, why don't you know how to feed the horse a carrot?
You're an owner.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked how Chester Bernstein, also Dustin Hoffman's character, kind of builds up Gus when they're talking to each other and saying, you don't know your depth,
Right.
you know? And I feel most people in general don't know their depth. That's why people are sitting at home watching all these shows.
Yeah.
They're not out trying to make these shows because I don't feel like people really do know their depth. And I'm really excited that that's going to be a part of this show, is the characters getting to know just what they are capable of.
Right. Although there is a funny scene with Gus at the beginning in Chester where Chester wants to get something because his memory's kind of going, so he wants to get a tape recorder.
Right.
So he record his thing. He's telling Gus this, and he says, "Hey, can you get me a tape recorder?" And he goes, "Well, I can record for you something right now. I have a pen, I have paper, I can do that." And he just doesn't get that he wants a tape recorder, which is pretty funny. Or it just kind of shows also that relationship they have where Gus is kind of almost a servant to him. He's doing things for him, and he's just like, "I jot notes for you all the time. That's
Right.
what I do."
What do you think of that? I mean, it's clearly not just a memory aid. And as Mr. Dorsey points out in their little like mob meeting,
Yeah.
I mean, he saw it as like an attack or like a safety possessions in case, like, he's trying to frame him? I mean, what's going on? Clearly, Dustin wants revenge for something, and he's plotting.
I think it is plotting, even though, and it's a hard mix because you see throughout it that Chester's character is kind of falling apart. He mentions he's getting thin, he can't fit into his shirts anymore, and when he has that scene near the end with Gus, he has to go to bed at 7:30. He's clearly not the same man he used to be.
Right, and maybe he's developed a few obsession disorders. He wants the temperature to be 67. Which is perfect.
Kristen, you're young and you don't realize when you get old, that's just how it is.
Oh, I already have a lot of obsession disorders.
I know.
And they're piling up as I get older, so I can't imagine.
It's funny, though, because I think about, and this is a little off topic, but on topic, my parents, one of their biggest arguments they ever had was over what temperature to set the house at.
Wow.
So it is a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. I always turn it up before I go to bed. My roommate shuts it off before he goes to bed. So we play that game as well.
So clearly it's a big deal. My house doesn't have anything. We don't have air or heat, so it's just always cold or hot.
What about your house? Call in and let us know the temperature.
Yes. Biggest topic. But going back to that, though, with Mr. DeRossi, that was kind of another interesting interaction with Chester getting up, throwing the chair, and getting pissed off.
Rips his shirt buttons.
Yeah, and it pops out, too.
Do you think that was a play? A play? Do you think that was an act?
I don't know. I think he was just pissed off because as you mentioned, he just got out of being in jail for 3 years. Clearly, we don't know why yet, but Mr. DeRossi has something to do with that, and maybe he was protecting his ass.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what it was, but he's pissed about something.
I am really excited for this plot that Dustin Hoffman, Chester Bernstein obviously had 3 years to construct his revenge plot. I mean, if you were just put in a room for 3 years to get back at people who put you in that room, I don't know if you saw the Old Boy, that Korean film that's sort of like going along the
Monte
same thing.
Cristo.
Oh, hey, I love revenge films over here.
Or I'd have a spoon and being just doing the spoon thing.
You got 3 years.
Might as well try and dig your way out.
Are you guys familiar with the show Revenge on ABC? No, just curious.
I'm not personally.
I actually haven't seen it.
All right,
but you talk about it.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
No, obviously people are loving that show, and so I just, myself included, and so I wanted to see if it kind of compared in that sense, because it's funny you bring out Count of Monte Cristo. That show is written pretty much to be like that.
Wow.
And it's kind of the same scenario, but obviously the details are so different from Luck to Revenge, or at least I imagine them to be.
If it's like Count of Monte Cristo, I have to see Revenge because I love that movie.
I think we should watch it.
We should.
Yes.
But going back to Mr. DeRossi, though, and this whole thing, one of the things that Chester threw out was he wants to make a casino, and I think he was saying he wants to do it where the horse track is. So maybe that is part of his plot, is somehow dealing with having a casino in this horse track.
But where? I think he obviously wants to build it, because at one point Mr. DeRossi is like, "You're the asset," or he said something like that, and he's like, "No, you're the architect." So obviously they want to build a casino. Dustin Hoffman does, Bernstein, somewhere. He wants everyone to put their money, the big players, put their money in to build this casino and racetrack.
I think they wanted to do it at the racetrack that we
Really?
see. Yeah, I think that was what they were talking about.
No, because at one point they were talking about that land.
Because they were talking about having, a lot of land or converting something. Because I don't think it's Las Vegas. I think they're trying to do it somewhere where there's not normally a casino. Right. Mm-hmm. But
I don't know. That's one thing that we'll have to wait for, I guess.
We will find out.
We will find out.
But let's go to the next relationship, which is Turo Escalante, which I kind of mentioned earlier.
Yes.
And the main interaction we have, which relates the owners to this, is that Chester and Gus have a relationship with Turo, where Turo is the trainer of the horse they own. So Turo is a trainer, and that's what he's trying to do. And the main issue that they're dealing with this horse is that the horse is not pooping. Or dropping a doo-doo.
That happens though when you're traveling cross country and you're just sitting, and obviously this horse flew in from somewhere. He couldn't go. He was all bound up.
Can you please go on about your personal tale about how this happened to you?
I can really understand it. That's all I'm gonna say.
But yeah, the first scene with this horse in our first scene with Turo is a lady, a doctor, I guess a veterinarian of horses, coming in and sticking her hand up its butthole.
Yes. I mean, and they do that to people too.
That's true. Fortunately, I've not had that happen to me yet.
I'm going to keep quiet on that one.
Oh, interesting. All right. Kristen,
TMI over
I only
here.
just met you tonight, Kristen.
And she only just met that horse. And the funny part was, she said to Turo, she's like, I know you, but you wish this was you, you know?
Oh, yeah, yeah. And so Turo's like, love what you have to do there.
Yeah, do you think that she wanted him to, like, he would love being the horse or he would love being the one?
I think it was just doing the dirty business. She's just like, yeah, that's right. I know it's
Either
dirty
way, sexual tension there.
business. Possibly.
I saw it that way.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if she comes back. Because I guess they must work together a lot, right?
They must.
If you think about it.
Yes, absolutely.
Because Turo's kind of an interesting character, too. Because he sort of gets, he has an interesting relationship with their jockey, I think, Leon.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets very angry and upset pretty easily, I feel like. I think he kind of is high-strung, possibly.
He's
What do you
playing a game. I think he's playing a game because just like he told him to, we later find out when he was telling him stay wide, he didn't want him to get trapped in.
Yes.
Obviously.
So Turo, clearly, everybody here is apparently a cheater because Chester's somehow a cheater because he was in jail for 3 years. We don't know why yet, but he's probably fraud or something like that, but we don't know why. And Turo, we find out, he makes a lot of money on his own horse, which is, I don't know horse racing, but I'm sure that is illegal.
I mean, he's looking both ways whenever he's cashing in his vouchers. But, you know, there's cameras, so are you kidding me, sort of? Like, the security cameras aren't catching him, like, betting on his own horses cashing in.
Look, Kristen, people are really stupid. I know you live in a bubble, but people are really dumb.
I don't believe it.
But yeah, he made a lot of money.
Smart.
I actually jotted down how much money he made. He bet $1,000 on one ticket, and then he bet $2,000 on another ticket, which I'm assuming was to show he's trying to cover it up somehow. So he made $13,000 on the first one. Second bet he made, it would have had to been $26,000.
Yes, and obviously we were saying he didn't want to put all the money on one ticket because that obviously says that, oh, you didn't think this was just a 12-to-1 long shot. You knew something we didn't.
Yes, because it was a long shot. And the other thing about that is why he's pissed at his jockey, Leon, is because Leon's mentioning to him, like, oh, I think this is going to be a good day for the horse. I think he has some sort of weird Irish accent that I was trying to horribly imitate there.
I like it. Can you keep going in that?
No, I will not. Maybe another day. But, so he's talking about how he thinks the horse is going to be good, and Turo just freaks out because he's like, don't have flapping lips, don't talk about this because we don't want this getting out. So maybe there's some sort of inside gambling thing going on. Maybe it's just for Turo himself so he knows the odds are not quite what they should be, but he gets pissed. And so does Leon's agent, Joey, and they end up talking about it. Turo's talking with Joey like, why is he talking about how good the horse is? He should not be bringing this outside. This is confidential information.
And let's talk about how Joey is the agent of all the jockeys, to our knowledge at this point.
Yes, to our knowledge at this point. Every single jockey that you see, Joey.
Yeah, not really sure. But Escalante, I see him as being a cheat. And obviously, we know that he's got something to do with why Chester was in prison because Chester kind of talks to him and says he's been in the business for 25 years. Like, I should know how he is.
Oh, that's true.
There's some sore feelings there.
Or they somehow, I mean, clearly Turo owns their horse. Maybe he's owned other or dealt with other horses.
But Turo obviously doesn't know that Gus is the front man because Gus is the one that goes there and tries to feed the horse, whatever. And Gus has, like, an exchange with him.
Yes, and that interesting exchange where he can't feed the horse the carrots.
Uh-huh.
And
he's like...
There's something else to that, too, I think. Oh, the horse finally took a dump, and Turo was so excited, and Gus saw that. So I guess that was kind of what Gus got out of the exchange, was he wanted to check on his own horse.
But they said the name of the horse was, like, El Gondor or something, which was Spanish for wiener, obviously. Escalante's humor.
If this is Roman times, that's good luck. Because in Rome, that was good luck. So maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, but then Gus goes on to say...
I like to think of it as good luck.
Yeah.
I think wieners are totally good luck.
All right, moving on.
Thank you. But, so another trainer, or what we think is a trainer, we kind of meet this sort of mysterious man, Walter.
The old man.
The old man. And it seemed like he may have been a former trainer because he really has an eye for horses. And there's this one special horse that hasn't been used yet.
Right.
Walter's just like, this horse is special. There's something about this horse that is
I know
amazing.
a peach when I see one. He
Yes,
says.
that's the quote.
He's like the scouter of all scouts. And what was weird to me was when he was talking to the horse and he was like, what they did to your daddy and why didn't I hear it going on? Like, what do you think they're talking about there?
Either he was a trainer or maybe he did something with being a jockey too. Although I think he was probably a trainer. But yeah, I don't know.
Is he talking about the horse's dad?
Yeah, he was talking about the horse's dad, but clearly it's some sort of special relationship. Like maybe he trained the former horse's dad and it got sent to the glue factory, or it got put down, just like the sad ending to this show. But
I mean, yeah, I feel like the animal abuse, we're going to see some of that, and I'm not prepared for that.
you know what I'm wondering, though? Okay, so for everyone, I'm sure, watched the show, but at the end of the episode, we see the horse who's running, that's the special one that's going to win, that had the 12-1 odds on it, break its foot, and it's disgusting. And
that was the shot of the show.
Of it just like snapping.
Yes.
And then they had to put
Play
the
the
horse
game.
down. But I'm wondering, all those animal rights activists out there who are going to be watching this show and being like, why did that look like a realistic break? What just happened there? Because that was a pretty horrible shot right there.
Some nice After Effects, I guess.
Someone has really good After Effects work. Yeah.
I was really, really taken back and like disgusted.
No, that was
by
pretty like sudden too. It was just like you're just watching and then crack.
And then it kind of seemed like the frame like kind of froze for a second because everything that we saw tonight, that's in my head. Like,
yes.
I'm gonna dream about that. Bad dreams tonight. Bad dreams.
And the interesting thing with that, I'm gonna kind of relate this to the gamblers now, is that we met the gamblers before, but right when that snap happens, sad music happens, and all the jockeys are really sad because they love the horses. They really have a connection with the horses. And like the trainers are kind of thrown off because they don't want to see a horse get injured. Obviously, Turo is the trainer of this horse. He doesn't want to see that. But then the gamblers are still like hopeful and excited. He's like, wait, we have another bet that's going on, and who cares that this horse is down? We have another horse that could win and win all of this money for us.
I mean, I guess they're used to it, you know?
Yeah, because I guess that's just a normal part of horse rides and, well, just racing. You see that happen all the time.
But we don't get to see it that close. And in this show, we will.
Yeah, they kind of pull out the cover so the
green
audience can't see.
screen cover.
Yeah, so the audience can't see that they're going to put the horse down, but we get the behind-the-scene look of killing the horse, which is really sad. And it kind of, I'm sure I wonder if a lot of people are going to see this show and for some reason have not realized that that's what's been going on in horse racing.
Yeah.
And be like, wait, that's terrible. They put the horse down after it snaps its foot.
Yes, they do, guys.
But
it can never heal.
Right.
The body of the horse is too heavy.
Right, no,
for
it can
to
never
ever
heal. So I mean, I think the reason they do that is they think of it as like a putting it out of its misery thing, because it'll never.
You know how you can help save horses and all that stuff and spread the word?
How can you do that?
You can let your friends know about AfterBuzz TV. Here, we're about giving the truth to our fans and really explaining the nitty-gritty, especially for shows like this. The truth must get out there. If you don't want the truth to get out there, well, then shame on you. But guess what? You should spread the word about AfterBuzz TV. And you can download us. Just go to AfterBuzzTV.com, click on the shows page, and it'll have all the shows that we do, and you'll see Luck. And then you could see the video version, or you can subscribe to us on iTunes. So then anytime after that, we make a new episode, it goes right to your iPhone or iPad or iDevice, whatever the hell you own. Isn't it simple? And then
simple.
you know, in the heart of hearts, you've saved a horse. Isn't that wonderful?
It's wonderful.
Somehow that all makes sense.
If you
I'm gonna
zoomed
do
in,
it.
I'm gonna give the doggy eyes right now. If you zoom in, just save the horses and watch AfterBuzz TV.
I'm going to cry at some point during this show. It's really
I should have just
sad.
turned over and been like, "What's Kristen's reaction?" Maybe we should just tape reactions to this show, because
Yes.
it was sad though.
It
I was
sad.
sad too.
Okay, the shot of the horse's eye. And at first, we see like the big syringe of poison,
Yeah.
the shot of death coming in, and then we go to the eye of the horse, kind of seeing its death right in front of it, and it looked like he was like he knew what was coming.
Yeah, and you know,
Knew it.
I was trying to go to my happy place because I was with my dog when we put my dog down,
No,
and
don't
it was
talk about that.
It was
No.
just like
I know.
that, and it reminded me. I was just like, try not to think about that. Try not to think about that.
You're about to cry. You're tearing up
No.
over here.
When I was watching the show, I was like, I don't want to go to that place. So yeah, it was really sad.
I feel like we are always going to see shots of the eyes, and that's sort of like getting sleepy, and then just open.
Now
still.
I'm really looking forward to the show even more.
I mean,
That's sad.
We're neat. I was saying that I was hoping that a character was going to die in the very first episode.
And it had to be a horse. Yeah,
It had to be a horse.
We stopped the show at about 10 minutes in, and just to try and like gather our thoughts on it. And Kristen turns to me and is like, "Someone's gonna die. Someone better die in this show." No, it was a horse. It was a horse. You got your wish, Kristen. Are you happy?
I'm not. I'm
Are
crying.
you happy?
Can you hear me crying? I'm crying.
I can't hear you crying. I hear Phil crying, but you're not.
I am. If you look closely, my eyes are a little watery right now.
But as much as I would, let's finish talking about the other trainer who we meet briefly at the end of this is Ronnie. And Ronnie is the jockey, the other jockey, and he is a drunkard. And he tells Leon, who's really upset by this incident, he says, "It happens. Go. That's why they invented Jim Beam. Go drain your sorrows away."
Yeah.
Which
Clearly he's done.
yes, which clearly is done, and Joey's not happy about it.
That's what happens after you drink Jim Beam.
And that's what we're all going to be doing
Loving
tonight.
these sound effects over here. Loving them.
And that's what we're going to be doing tonight too, because that made
We're
me sorrowful.
sad.
Yes,
Like after the show, we need to go get drunk.
yes.
Jim Beam,
Let's do
sponsored
it.
by.
Sponsored by Jim Beam.
I think this show. I mean, clearly that was a reference. Do you think that they're sponsored by Jim Beam?
Maybe because normally I would think of whiskey. Well, I guess Jim
Whiskey,
Beam
they
is being
could've said
whiskey. Jim Beam is
whiskey.
whiskey. Yeah, you would say whiskey.
But that's a brand name
or Jack Daniels, or I don't know. But they chose Jim Beam for some reason. Which
for a reason.
maybe it's because
Which, you know what? I mean, from an insider perspective, I'm not saying Jim Beam sponsored the show, but it's always nice when you're more like you can kind of tell what's a mainstream film or TV show by like the things that are in there. Like if you had a generic beer can, you'd be like, oh, no. But I'm saying,
I totally agree.
the show's low rent, whereas like,
Absolutely.
oh, Jim Beam, that puts the audience at ease and like, okay, I get this world. Again,
and
they can,
clearly Dustin Hoffman has something to do with this show. If they're using those, if they're throwing that out there.
Probably his favorite drink.
But let's talk about the gamblers then, who were very excited and how we meet them.
Okay, can I just tell you that they are my favorite characters right now?
I think they're my favorite characters too.
Because you want to know why? Because they're all scarred, and I freaking love the men with the scars. Like, don't get those removed by plastic surgery. The scarred characters are always the most interesting. And
Can you get mental scars taken away by plastic surgery?
No, that's like Sunshine.
Yeah,
That
Sunshine
movie.
La La Land. But yeah, so like, I mean, like Marcus has like clearly he has a respiratory problems, and just right off the bat he has some sort of issues.
He's dying. The other guy just got his disability check,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
he is throwing that all in the pot.
And then Jerry is one of the main ones who's the whiz, and he kind of has something a little off about him too.
He's
which
like the Rain Man, the
or-
Dustin Hoffman
yes.
Rain Man character.
bringing it back, full
Bring it
circle
back.
here, full circle. But he seems like he's probably been beat up a few times before. I would
Yes.
think, yeah.
He's the whiz, but the out of control.
Degenerate, like just
Degenerate,
complete gambler. He's always gambling and throwing his money away. And that's the way we're introduced to him.
He is the dangerous gambler, and Marcus is the guy in the respiratory. He keeps his clan together, so he's like the leader of the gamblers.
Right. He's like, he knows that Jerry has it in him to make good picks, but he's worried because Jerry is the one who's can't help himself. Even though he does good things, he just doesn't stop. He doesn't know when to quit.
Right.
Basically, he's the real problem gambler. Doesn't know when to stop.
And it's not like he wants this money to buy any specific thing. You know what he wants it for?
To gamble more.
Exactly. That's when you know you have a problem.
Right. And it's funny because like at the end of the episode, they end up winning $2 million.
Wow.
And all I was thinking was, what does Jerry want the money for? Because everyone else is like, I'm going to give this money to my kids. I'm going to pay off
Send
people
it to
and all
my
this.
aunt.
And Jerry doesn't say anything because he's
say
probably going to gamble it all away. I don't know what else
Getting
he
ready
wants
to
it
hit the
for.
tables.
Yeah.
Something they said they needed to figure out an IRS issue before they claimed the winnings, before they
Yeah.
came forward as the
Well,
winners.
what was that?
I don't know. And what would they have to clear up? Their IRS issues.
That's something I really want to find out about is what are
Mm-hmm.
these IRS issues?
And how long do you have to come forward?
I have no idea.
Because I have
Fortunately,
a
I'm not in this
feeling-
world.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to be a couple episodes until they claim their winnings.
Yeah, it's kind of weird though. Like, and they're kind of in shock. But yeah, when are they going to claim the winnings? I mean, I'm sure they're going to at some point. But just what do they have to clear up? Why is it an issue that they can't just go run up and be like, yeah, look at the ticket?
Right, and if you're betting every day, wouldn't you kind of make sure if you did win, you didn't have issues with claiming?
You would think so.
There must be something we don't know.
Now, I'm kind of curious, Kristen, being that they won $2 million, if you won this much money, what would you do with it?
You know what? I recently found out from my family that being a Catholic, which I don't hide, you're supposed to donate 20% of your income. So 20%
Goes
to
to
the
charity.
church. To the
Oh,
church,
to the
and,
church.
and
Okay.
to charity. To be more specific, because the church obviously donates to charity, despite what you hear.
I'm Jewish, so I don't know.
That's okay
you
too.
Catholics, I don't know.
We're friends. Yeah, so definitely donating it, and that I feel like you get the most out of doing that. Obviously, taking care of your family, I feel like would be people's close second.
Yeah.
Donating, giving to your family, taking care of everybody, and then just bettering your life to the next degree. Whether that's if getting rid of your old junker car, probably gonna happen. Maybe getting a nicer apartment, but
Yeah.
if I were to win that much money, I would invest it. I'd be very smart with
So
it.
you have smart, realistic claims. I would
Very
gamble it all the way.
No, you wouldn't.
No. Yeah, I'd probably just do it to further my career and then give it to charity. That type. Well, exactly what you said. Aren't we so boring? We're the most boring hosts that you guys have ever had.
Phil, what would you do with your $2 million?
I'd figure out. I'd be pretty smart about it. I not to bore viewers, but I would figure out financially. Okay, what's the house I can buy, and I would watch movies for the rest of my life based off of that income.
And then do AfterBuzz shows about them.
Yeah,
right?
well,
Yeah.
sure, I would do that. But basically, I would do nothing for the rest of my life. I wouldn't live. I wouldn't like visit Tijuana or any of those places. I'd just stay at home, buy some groceries, and watch movies all day.
You could probably do that if you throw yourself downstairs, claim disability for the rest of your life. There you go. You don't need
Yeah,
a $2
Phil's
million.
most
dollars.
boring person I know.
I'm not about like I don't want to cheat the system. I want to make the money.
What do you need the money for?
I just need the money. The money.
just-
The money.
But if you're just staying in your room watching movies,
I guess
the
that's-
money.
Yeah,
what do
but you need food. You need to survive for what?
I guess it's
40,
just
50
peace of
years.
mind.
I need to buy the movies. I need
It's
food.
so when he
I
gets,
need the house.
his
I need
kids.
utilities.
When he has kids for his wife, future wife, who would stay in and watch movies
He
with him
didn't
all day
mention a
long.
wife.
Oh, that's true. Maybe
no
he doesn't
wife
want a wife.
involved.
Maybe not. Okay, there we go.
Where's the crying
But
sound?
Can I throw out? I want to change what I would do with my $2 million to. I would eat 2 candy bars. I guess those are 100 grand. So I guess I'd eat 20 candy bars. 100 grand bars. Those are delicious.
Can I
Those are some
bring
good candy bars.
Another hilarious point that you had earlier was about how this show is sort of horse porn. And that
Yes.
was all you.
Yeah.
All you. Can
Thank
we have
you.
an
Thank you for the credit.
applause?
Yes. No, we can't. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so... Yeah, I'm hilarious. So, yeah, it's funny. Like, after we're introduced to the owners, we get this glam shot of the horses and just, like, close-ups on their butts and, like... Bathing the horse and glistening in the sunlight.
And heavy breathing.
Some horse porn there for you. Oh...
Much more to come, too.
Oh, I can't wait. And then they tear it apart by killing the horse. Ooh, yes. I'm sure some sicko out there is getting off on it.
No.
And that's why they tear it down. But yeah, so the gamblers though are the most interesting characters because I
Absolutely.
think also they're the ones that you get to kind of know the most about because they have their clan, they're in their group, and they're like,
They have a routine.
They have a routine, and it also kind of shows you just how much of it isn't luck. I think that's kind of the ironic thing about the show, is that they have these insights. Like, they know Escalante is the owner, and they kind of have this insight, like, we kind of know he's a good trainer, he's doing these things with these horses, and they're trying to use as much insight as they can. Then Escalante had his insight, which is why he won. So a lot of them aren't quite as clean, which is maybe why they have the IRS issues.
Right.
Except for Jerry, who's just a terrible gambler and a good gambler. I don't know. The Wiz.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they do that. Who bought the ticket, because it's really them that's getting the money and then divides it up. I don't know. Who bought the ticket? It looks like Marcus did.
Yeah,
it was in his
probably.
pocket.
And then Kegel is the
security guard.
security guard who is then in with it by providing money to Jerry, and he's kind of like also a little bit off, but I mean, he doesn't really have any insight. He's just like wanting to get in on something he can't really get in on.
Yeah, I don't know, because then at one point Jerry's like, "Oh, you're the boss. We work for you." He says that to the security guard. So is it mainly his money? Because all these other guys, it seems like they're kind of living off disability. So how much of it is...
Well, it seems like Marcus actually kept some of his money. That's what I think. Marcus had money, and then Jerry wanted to throw his own money into the pot. Because I think they kind of do it as a collective pot.
I mean,
'Cause
they
obviously-
better all
right,
put in the
'cause
same
more-
amount of money.
But like the more money you put in, the more money you're gonna win. So it's like, all right, let's all put our pot together.
Yeah, I don't think they do it evenly, because
I punched
obviously...
my mic. I was so angry, by the way. But
They definitely don't all put in the same amount of money. I think they each have a role. Like, wherever the money comes from, that's where it comes from to buy the ticket. And I think most of it comes from the security guard, because at this point, he's the only one that has a job.
right.
But then the other guys do the numbers and the work. Jerry doesn't have any money to put in, but
he
the
just
whiz.
has the know-how.
He's the Rain Man.
Yes.
So I definitely think, they've established that we are one and we each have a role.
Yeah. So I think you're right. And then obviously Marcus is the leader of the crew.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we really caught the other two's names in the show.
They don't seem as
Luck
important.
not giving us the names that we need. Come on.
Yeah. But what I found really interesting was how they were all at the cafe and they all ordered the usual.
Yeah.
Obviously, okay, that tells us they're here all the time. This is their job.
Right. This is just what they do every day. They're probably at the tracks every single day.
And eating the same thing every single day.
And they're boring too. Apparently everybody's boring. Everybody is boring.
No, I'm sure they all have a very deep story,
But
which will be
And
unraveled.
I do want to see how they're all going to end up webbing together and correlating with each other. Like, because I'm sure they're going to. Like, are these gamblers going to somehow end up correlating with Chester, who's the owner and like the guy who's the real high up guy? Like, how are they going to end up webbing together? What's going to bring them together? And that's what I'm really curious to see.
Absolutely. I'm curious about that too. And Leon, we didn't talk a whole lot about him, but I saw a relationship, even though the ratio in this show is like 12-1, male to female.
That's why I love the show.
I'm still hoping for a romance, and I kind of saw it developing between Rosie, who's a trainer, and Leon, the jockey.
Yeah, that will be interesting to see what's going to happen to Leon too now that he kind of, I mean, I don't know if they consider it the jockey's fault when something like that happens or just bad luck.
I was waiting for him to get screamed at. I can tell you that
I know.
much.
I thought Turo was going to come down and just like rain hell on him.
He probably will.
But yeah, maybe that's going to be the next episode.
At this point, they're kind of just like, just go to your room. And can we talk about the jockey life for 1 minute before we go into predictions? Just sort of like their area and his whole little like prey station setup.
Yeah.
And I know, like, what a hard life those jockeys have. I've heard about this before. I mean, they have to stay underweight because they have to be very light on those horses. So, like, they constantly have an issue with,
I mean, aren't a lot of them midgets, too? Mm-hmm. Right, like, a lot of them are midgets
very
or
short.
very short.
Just like pilots have to have perfect vision, jockeys come with a whole nother set of
issues and requirements and all that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, Rosie's even mentioning, like, she mentions, I've been staying this weight for something because it seems like she wants to be a jockey. And that's kind of what she's pointing out. Like, I want to be a jockey. And they kind of showed us the upcoming stuff where she is riding a horse. And she's like, I haven't been staying underweight for nothing. Like, I want to be riding these horses.
But I said that I didn't think that girls could be jockeys. So I'm not sure if she's going to go in disguise, shave her head. What's going to happen there?
Right. And I kind of wonder that, too, because I think you're right. I don't think girls can be jockeys. And the other interesting thing we kind of see is the jockeys get together and kind of have like a powwow at the beginning. And I'm wondering if it's almost like with NASCAR drivers and racers, if like sometimes when you have teams of drivers, now again, this is me not knowing anything about horse racing. Like I wonder if there's
speculation, folks.
Speculation here, but I wonder if maybe
like
they
word.
also have teams where they also like just like NASCAR drivers, which I don't really watch NASCAR either, but I know that.
So they all are kind of riding
so
horses
maybe like,
for the same owner.
Right, so maybe some of them ride horses for the same owner and they want one specific horse to be the one that wins. I don't know. So.
Do you think the jockeys are going to mess up the races on purpose?
I feel like the jockeys care about the horses too much to want to. I think the
Fix the
jockeys.
race.
I think the jockeys are the only innocent ones in the show. The jockeys and Walter the trainer, but it seems like the jockeys are like the ones who are innocent, who actually like they love the horses. They actually love what they're doing. They really like riding the horses and have a relationship with their horses. So I think they're a little more clean. Because, like, Leon at the beginning, when he's talking about how I think the horse is going to have a good day and he's really proud of it. And he gets scolded by Turo for talking. Because he's innocent. He's like, why is it a bad thing to say my horse is going to have a good day? I'm proud of my horse.
His job is to ride.
Yeah, don't talk. Just
Don't
ride.
talk.
I don't pay you to talk.
Follow directions.
I don't pay you to have flapping lips.
Don't eat. Follow directions.
Yes, don't eat. Please be anorexic.
Those are your only 2 rules. Okay. Should we take a break and go into predictions?
Let's do
take
it.
a break, and then I actually have a fun thing that I'll share with you guys.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Ooh, fun fact. All right.
It's a fun fact. It's about horse racing, not specifically about the show, but about horses.
I can't wait.
Get excited.
Right after this.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
I don't like all of them. Just kidding. Woo! Yeah!
What do you want to buzz about?
All right. Well, this week I want to buzz about the. You guys ever? Obviously, upset is a huge term in sports. Do you guys know where it came from?
Where did it come from? I don't know.
I feel like you know.
I think it's from someone being upset and crying. I don't know.
Well, it's there was a horse named Upset.
Wow.
Way back, I believe the 40s. I don't know the date. Don't quote me on that. But
Quoting you.
go ahead. Send me your hate mail. info@AfterBuzzTV.com. But anyway, so there was a horse, and it was low odds. It wasn't set to win or whatever, and it did. Upset won.
That's so crazy. Like it's I love learning where things like that come from.
Yes.
So like because we always use that term. Like that was such an upset. That's crazy. Well, you learned something on this show.
The
If you
things
don't
you
know-
learn.
Acknowledged.
That's
If you
right.
don't know,
You've
now
been
you
learned,
know.
son. That's awesome. I'm gonna tell everybody that now. By the way, Phil, and I hope you
I'm
guys
just
at
gonna
home
tell
do
them
too.
to watch AfterBuzz
Oh,
and
better.
learn and learn.
Yeah, that's a better
See,
way.
not only are you helping about, you're not only helping out the horses, you're helping out gain knowledge and
wisdom.
just, I mean, that's a huge sports term in general. So
Right,
there
like
you go.
everybody uses that, and for the Super Bowl coming up too. Like now, you can tell people
Tell
at
all
the
your
Super Bowl,
friends at the Super
you're gonna be the cool kid at the Super Bowl
Coolest.
party,
The
coolest
coolest.
kid. But let's go ahead and talk about our predictions.
Can I get some music?
You may.
Now,
I like
your
it.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Yeah, we got some lights too, some red lights
Strobe
flashing.
light.
Would you like to start?
Sure, I will start.
Thank you.
So I feel like obvious we got to talk about the preview.
Yeah.
And so we see Dustin Hoffman saying the U.S. economy is bankrupt and this is what you guys should do with your money. So he's obviously the mob leader now. And he's getting all these other guys who have all this money to put in their money to start whatever he is starting, this new racetrack or this new casino.
Yeah.
And so that's developing and unraveling. You know what? We didn't get a whole lot of time with him. That
No.
kind of upset me.
We really didn't get that much time with
No.
him when you think about it.
No, and so I'm looking forward to a lot more from Dustin Hoffman. That's really why I'm watching this show.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for more time with him and obviously for that plot to unravel. Jerry, I have a feeling he obviously is going to spend all his money and mess stuff up.
Yeah.
All his winnings. I see a relationship developing between Rosie and Leon, the jockey. And I also see Leon coming to the same fate as that horse. what
That's
we
going to be
saw
exciting.
today.
If that happens and you were right, I will be so excited.
Leon's gonna die, yes. I don't know that I want that to happen, but I just see that happening.
All right. What a morbid prediction by you, Kristen.
I'm good for those. And I also think, obviously, like we talked about earlier, Rosie's going to go in some kind of disguise so she can ride and maybe ride for Leon, who it looks like she has a crush on.
Yeah. So I agree with you about most of those. Most of those. I definitely think that
You
Jerry...
have your own opinion?
No. They just put me on this show to say things everybody thinks. So I agree with you. I think Jerry is definitely going to somehow end up screwing everybody over in the group and spending all the money. And somehow he's probably going to also end up somehow taking money that he shouldn't be taking to spend it too. And we saw in the
blow it
preview
all.
him being frustrated and pounding the table, making that awesome sound effect, pounding the table. And obviously something's going to go wrong with him. And I think what I'm interested in seeing is what's going to happen with Joey the agent, because he's so nervous all the time. He's stuttering and stammering all the time. Why is that? And I think we're going to learn something about his past, where maybe he had represented jockeys who did poorly, but because clearly he's pissed at Ronnie for being a drunkard now. So I think we're going to learn something about that.
I see a heart attack coming in there.
Yeah,
I see
possibly.
nothing but doom for all these. I'm killing characters off over here.
You're already killing them one off, and that's where I kind of disagree with you. I don't think Leon's gonna get killed.
Throughout the 9 episodes?
I don't think he's
of
gonna
the
get killed. I
season?
think something bad is going to happen to him, or he'll get fired, or something where like something bad's going to happen to him. But I don't think he'll get murdered.
Somebody has to take a bullet.
I don't think
or...
this is The Sopranos, even though somehow it is, because
Someone's gotta die.
There's some sort of mob thing going on too. You're right with like Chester and the owners, but and that's something I agree with you on. I think that Chester is gonna somehow bring everybody in to doing his scheme, and
He's
gonna
the
somehow do
Godfather. I
something.
like that aspect. He's gonna be the
Maybe
new
that's why Dustin
Godfather.
Hoffman did the show. He wants to be the Godfather now.
I think he probably had a little obsession disorder with that as well, along with his temperature disorders. He wants to be
Yes.
the Godfather, and he's working all the puppets now. He really is.
But all before 7:30 p.m. is bedtime.
Amazing. I think that's our cue to leave, guys. But
All right.
thanks for checking us out. Find me at kristen.snyder@blogspot.com.
And you can follow me at the Dave Klein, or go to my website, djk-online.com. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We had fun, and obviously you had fun because Kristen and I were here, and Phil.
Catch us next week, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, obviously a new show, so tell your friends. We'll be here every Sunday. The schedule remains to be solidified as to when we'll be on, but just go to AfterBuzzTV.com. Stay tuned there, and yeah, I mean, I think I'm excited for a good season, huh? How about you
Very
guys?
excited.
So excited.
Woo, woo, woo.
And again, it only helps when you get more people involved. The more people involved, the better season this will be. The more fun we'll have, the more stuff we'll bring to the table, right, guys?
And let's all talk about it
On and on
together.
and on.
Together.
Talk about it.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.